Hello everyone, welcome to Executive Corner Expert Talks in 20 minutes roundup with Mr. Stephen Ora, who is the CEO of Optibiotix Health PLC. This is your host, Samta, and as you know, we bring to you industry leaders, successful business owners, market and equity advocates, all under one roof, to help you discover the insights of stock market and help you understand how can one create multiple passive income streams. So in today's show, as I said, we have Mr. Stephen Ora with us, who's the CEO of Optibiotix Health PLC. Welcome, Stephen. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Good afternoon. It's great to meet you.
So let's start with the show. We have seen that Optibiotix is rapidly growing company working in microbiome field. Can you give investors a brief overview?
Yes, certainly. So the microbiome field is described as one of the fastest growing areas in healthcare and the future of healthcare. And it all relates to the microbes in our gut and on our skin. And over the last 10, 15 years or so, there's been increasing evidence that the microbes in our gut and on our skin can impact on a range of diseases, including obesity, cardiovascular health, right the way up to the cancers, Parkinson's and autism. So I formed the company in 2012, placed on the stock market in 2014. I'm a microbiologist by training with 60 odd publications, chapters in various books and over 100 patents. So I saw an opportunity in this particular space, and I've created a company which is has three approaches, if you like, to change the microbiome. The first approach is a prebiotic approach. So we created fibers that can impact upon weight management and impact upon hunger and cravings for food. The second is a probiotic. So probiotics are healthy bacteria that you use to change the microbiome. And we have a particular strain that all the studies show can impact upon cardiovascular health, reduce cholesterol. And the third area is we've created a company which is now separately on the stock market called Skin Biotherapeutics that creates compounds to impact upon psoriasis, eczema, wound care. So it's a really exciting field, and we are seen by industry as one of the leaders in this field, and we're quite unusual in that we don't have just the science, but we have the science and the products and rapidly growing products around the world.
It seems that your products are growing rapidly around the world. So everyone is curious to know that what is the secret to the success?
Yeah, I think the secret is always hard work, but it's also having a sensible strategy. And so we build the business, if you like, on three pillars. The first pillar is that we understand the science, so we know the science works, okay? And that's very, very important for products. The second is that we carry out clinical studies. So all our products have clinical studies which show they work in humans and they're safe and they're tolerated. And the third part is that we work with key opinion leaders. So these are world experts who talk about the science on international stages, not about our products. They keep their scientific rigor, and they talk about our science. That gives us credibility in the marketplace. So those three things, and then using the science, clinical studies, and the key opinion leaders to create products that have a real impact upon people's lives. So help you to reduce weight, help you to reduce cholesterol, so help you in all those chronic lifestyle diseases that are very difficult to manage, that are large markets where there's an unmet need, then creates a platform for success. And then, as I said earlier, the other part of it is hard work.
Talking about hard work, I know that your annual results were out today. So could you talk us through the key financial highlights, please?
Yeah, we've done really well. So last year was a difficult year in terms of COVID, but we doubled our sales last year. So to double your sales in an area of weight management. People probably weren't focused too much on weight management last year. They were focused more on immune health. And the W sales in cardiovascular health, again, not a principal topic. I think was quite remarkable in such a difficult year. But as well as doubling our sales, we actually reduced our costs. We had a 27% reduction in our costs. So we grew sales, reduced our costs. So what that shows you is that we have a scalable business model, that the more we grow, you're not growing as you grow, you add to your costs, that you got better margins. So our margins increased by 5%, and our gross profit increased by 124%. So growing very, very quickly, but growing profitability as well as revenues. And that's just our first generation products. Coming along, and our plan for this year now is to keep on growing those products to more countries around the world, and then to bring on our second generation products. So these are quite unique products. One's a sweet fibre, so it's a bit like sugar, but it's a fibre. So it doesn't cause dental caries, doesn't cause the glycemic response and the insulin response, and it will be labelled as a fibre on products. And the other, if you believe the microbiome is important, then we created what we call microbiome modulators. So they can precision engineer the microbiome, and that creates us a lot of potential for the future to manipulate the microbiome in a specialised way to impact on a wide range of diseases, not just obesity and cardiovascular health. And I guess the other thing that's worthwhile mentioning, I indicated earlier, we had a company called 𝐊𝐴𝐴𝐺𝐻𝐿, which I founded. We put on the stock market separately. That value increased massively. So the value of that alone now is worth £103 million, and we own 25% of that. So our asset value in 𝐊𝐴𝐴𝐺𝐻 has also increased. So as a company, as an investment proposition, we're in the right space with products that are winning awards. We've won a whole host of awards for our products, are growing rapidly all around the world. Then we have a second generation products coming through, and of course on top of that, an appreciating asset with 𝐊𝐴𝐴𝐺𝐻𝐿. So it's looking pretty good as a company.
Optibiotix has signed a lot of commercial deals with the partners over the last few years, as we've seen. Can you talk us and tell us about the key deals and which are the ones that excite you for the future?
So we've signed 80 deals in just over 2.5 years. So you can see the level of interest in our products. And it's a bit like fishing. You have to catch the smaller fish to attract the bigger fish, okay? And so the earlier deals were with smaller partners, and as we've grown, we attracted the bigger fish, okay? The bigger partners. So, for example, we've got a deal with Holland & Barrett in the UK. They have 1,000 stores in the UK. Last year they launched in February with 3 of our products. This year they extended that from 3 to 8, and we hope to see more product line extensions throughout the year. So that's a good example of a large retail partner buying into our products. We also have a partner in Australia called Optifarm. They have a product called OptiSlim, which is Australia and New Zealand's #1 weight management brand. They've included one of our products, Optibiome, into OptiSlim, and that's grown very, very rapidly. And of course, they had an existing position in the marketplace, so we've got rapid growth for them, and they're adding Optibiome to more and more products, and they're increasing their territory, so that's quite exciting. We also have a partner in Italy, a pharmaceutical partner called 𝐿𝐴𝐴. They are a 1.7 billion turnover company, and they've taken LPLDL, our probiotic, and incorporated that into a product, and that's growing rapidly. And then finally, we've got another partner called Actiol, who are again a pharmaceutical company, and they sell VSL3, which is the world's best-selling or best-branded probiotic, and they are now incorporating our particular strain 𝐿PLDL into a product line extension as part of their VSL extension. So lots of exciting things just in terms of existing deals. We've got a lot more in the pipeline, which I can't tell you about.
Well, investors can see that you're building a global network of partners which are the areas of key strategic interest for the future growth?
Yeah, so typically when you create products, you test them in your home market, because if it's a problem, then you can resolve it rather than traveling around the world. So we launched in the UK, we then moved into Europe, and the next part of our strategy in terms of those key markets is the USA. We've got a number of products in the USA, but we want to put a little bit more time and effort into building our portfolio within the USA. India strategically is a really important market, a 1.4 billion population, an increased number of Indians are middle class or upper class and have high incomes. So that's a really important area. And of course, finally, Asia, particularly China. So we've got a number of deals in Asia, and they seem to be growing really, really quickly. But they're in Singapore and Malaysia, Taiwan, and they're making quite a big impression in the market. And we see that as an opportunity to create interest and attention in our products to move into China. So there are lots of things going on, and again, rapid growth. And whilst there's no guarantee of success, this is looking very, very good.
Now, with the first generation products achieving profitability, could you take us through your plans for your innovative second generation products, 𝐕𝐝𝐵IOTix and the microbiome modulators?
So these are highly innovative products. So the strategy was to take products to market and get products to market early and build revenue growth, because that gives you credibility in the marketplace. Okay. Along the way, we've had quite a few scientific publications. We've won awards for both our science and for our products. So you built that credibility. You've also built a network of partners. There's say 80 partners, and our products now are in 160 countries around the world. Then we have those existing products, the LPLDL and SlimBiome, have really been based on existing science. Okay, what we had to do with our 𝐕𝐝𝐵IOTix microbiome modulators is create new science. Okay, and as I touched on earlier, our 𝐕𝐝𝐵IOTix are really products that are a step change. So, rather than going from, if we take the car industry as an example, rather than going from a petrol or diesel car to more efficient petrol or diesel cars, for incremental change, this is a step change, right? So it's moving to a totally different area. It's a bit like a electric car or a hydrogen fuel car. It's a real change to the industry. So the 𝐕𝐝𝐵IOTix I touched on earlier are fibers, so they're all fibers, and they're sweet. So having that ability to take a fiber in and not to have any calories, so to reduce your calories, not to impact upon your insulin response, is a step change to the industry, a massive step change to the industry. So all of a sudden, you've got sucrose and fructose as healthy products, which add sweetness, to a healthy product. You're adding fibers. People need to add more fiber to the diet. So we're adding sweetness and fiber to diet. So that's really, really exciting. We got to the stage with those where we've carried out 5 human studies. The sweetness is great, and now we're scaling up to manufacturing scale. We have a number of partners where we have material transfer agreements in place, and we have open innovation agreements in place, and they're progressing very, very nicely as they look to incorporate 𝐕𝐝𝐵IOTix into a range of products, into dairy products, into beverages like your fizzy drinks, etc. So a big opportunity there. That in itself should be worth 30-40 million just as an opportunity. In fact, other companies, potential competitors, have raised 30-40 million for lesser products. Our microbiome modulators, again, really exciting. Again, new science. So we're creating particular substrates for particular microbes, which are that grow those microbes selectively. So they grow independent of the bacteria around them. So in the gut or on the skin, you can grow particular microbial groups. And so that allows you to grow the healthy bacteria and not impact upon the unhealthy bacteria. And once you start to get the association between a healthy bacteria and an illness, such as cardiovascular health or such as cancer, autism, etc., you can start to target those changes to change the microbiome to have a healthy outcome. So that is massive in its own right. So it's 2 really big opportunities. One final opportunity, our LPLDL we developed really as a probiotic, as a supplement, but the data we've got from the human studies is so good. They really are, the data is comparable, if not better, than many statins without any side effects. So we think there's an opportunity to take our LPLDL, our probiotic, down the drug route. So that's another opportunity. So lots of things beyond the business. We've got a business growing quickly, doubling sales with existing products, but a healthy pipeline of really exciting products coming down the line.
Well, the future certainly seems promising, and without taking much time of yours, where do you see the future growth coming from in Optibiotix to create shareholder value?
So I think there's two areas really. One is growing our existing first generation products. I can quite easily see those reaching 10 million sales in the near future. So for each of them, for the Slim Biome and the LPLDL, and then beyond that, then as I've alluded to, you've got the second generation products, and I think they are really, really exciting. And if one of those comes to the market, and I think all three will come to the market, I think you've got a massive opportunity. So I always say to investors, you've got a bit of steak in the sizzle. So you've got the steak is your first generation. So if you like it, they guarantee your investment because they'll keep on growing. And we will indicate you've got some good partners for those. And you've got the potential big upside, the sizzle, your SweetBiotics, your microbiome modulators, and your LPLDLs and drug biotherapeutics. So yeah, we see some great opportunities going forward, and we're just looking forward to the future.
Optibiotix is certainly the organization to watch out for with such promising future plans. Thank you so much, Stephen, for sharing such useful information with us today. It was lovely chatting up with you, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. It's been very enjoyable.
On that note, this is me, Samta, saying goodbye and watch out this space for more. Till then, stay apprised and invest wise with